When I talk of the historical development of the game of cricket, the first thing that we need to know is that in the year 1744, the first cricket written laws were made. According to this, we see that the principals decided upon all those present, two umpires whom they selected, who would decide all the disputes arising in the game, and their verdict shall stand as final. Then the stumps had to be 22 inches high, whereas the bail across them had to be 6 inches apart. We also see that the ball had to be of the weight of somewhere between 5 to 6 ounces, and the two set of stumps actually had to have a difference of 22 yards, which means that now people, or rather the cricketers, had to follow certain laws specifically. Earlier there was nothing fixed, whether the weight of the ball, the length between the stumps or the bail, nothing was fixed. People did it according to their own conveniences. Now, another change which came in the game of cricket was when the Marylebone Cricket Club gave certain rules to the playing of cricket. The first MCC rule was that they actually had to pitch the ball through the air, because they felt that this would increase the pace of the ball. Second was, this also increased the possibility of the spin and the swing. Now, another major difference that came was that the ball now had to be either 5.5 or 5.75 ounces, whereas earlier, according to the 1744, it could be between 5 to 6 ounces. Next is in 1774, the leg before cricket was established. We also see that the third stump became common due to the Marylebone Cricket Club rules. So, the first historical development is of the 1744 cricket laws, whereas the second one were made by the Marylebone Cricket Club. Now, this did not end the process, or it was not the end of the cricket laws. They kept on coming, they kept on changing, and the entire 19th century saw more changes. So, in the 19th century, the changes which were seen were that we see that the wide balls were established. We also see that the circumference of the ball was specified. Pads and gloves were now given to the cricketers. We also see that the boundaries came in. Earlier, every ball was a run, but now boundaries were made. Underarm bowling became legal in the 19th century. So, we see a lot of changes occurring in the 19th century also. So, continuing from 1744 to the Marylebone Cricket Club to the changes which were made in the 19th century is the historical development of the very famous and popular game cricket. If you look at the game of cricket properly or keenly, you will know that the cricket has a rural influence on the game, because cricket actually started in the villages of England. And if I talk about its rural influences, some of them which are very striking are that the game had no time limit in the beginning, following to the rhythm of the villages before the Industrial Revolution. That is why we see that even today there are test matches which continue for 5 days and end up in a draw. Then most of the cricket equipments are made of the wood. That is, the bat, the stump, the bails, all have been made of wood. We also see that the size and shape of the ground is never specified, because when the game was played in rural England, the area of the commons where they played, that is the common land, was different from village to village. We also see that all this have made it as a striking influence of the rural background on the game of cricket. Of course, Dennis Lillee was the first Australian player who tried to play the game with an aluminium bat, which later on was banned. This game has also got influenced by the new technology, as all other fields of life have been influenced by the new technology. So same is the case with the game of cricket. The pads and the gloves are made of vulcanized rubber, thanks to the Industrial Revolution. The helmets are made of metals and lightweight materials, which again shows the influence of the new technology into the rural game of cricket. Well, if we talk of the old game of cricket, there used to be two kind of players in England, the amateurs and the professionals. The amateurs were those who played for fun and not for money. The rich people who played the game of cricket for fun's sake, for the spirit of playing, whereas the professionals were those who were poor and they needed money when they played cricket out of it. So they were paid by either subscription or the patronage. The amateurs were always batsmen. They were rich, so they preferred to be batsmen, whereas the professionals were poor miners who worked in the mines and also played cricket, had to be content with becoming bowlers. Now, therefore, all the rules which are there of cricket seem to be favoring the batsman, because the rich people were batsmen. They could enter the game or they could enter the ground from any side. So therefore, cricket is also sometimes called as the game of the batsman or the batsman's game. So the major difference was the amateurs were poor, the amateurs were rich and the professionals were poor. They were batsmen, they were bowlers, they were playing for fun's sake, they were playing for money, and they had to be paid through subscription and patronage. The first professional who ever captained the cricket team was in the year 1930, and the name of that professional was Len Hutton. Before that, they were all amateurs who actually captained the English team, and naturally all of them were batsmen.